I invited 8 event players who you may know with experience in a variety of Minecraft genres to find out what they think about the Minecraft event space.
Insert Kel Glaze here.
Yeah!
Before the video starts, I just want to mention that it is peak. Get it? Because I'm on a... Okay, never mind. But I did want to state that everything in this video is just an opinion and shouldn't be taken offensively. Back to the video. Minecraft events should have a more diverse player base when it comes to creator size. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think it depends on where you're going for as an event. I think so. For example, like Block Wars, if you're trying to do like, obviously you go for like higher content creators or whatnot. But if you're trying to like a friend that's like not as focused on that, like for like more for fun for friends or whatnot, I think you should probably just chill to like the dabble around there. But I think it just depends on the event.
Okay, so I do think that events should try to kind of have a very like mixed roster of like smaller creators and bigger creators. Something I love about certain events is that not all events obviously do this, but it's just nice to give like these smaller creators a platform to kind of show them off, you know, give them a chance. I want to see some of my friends be able to play these events that I just so happen to be in.
So I'm on this side because I do think although like diversity is good in events and you should have like all kind of creators, there's events that it just doesn't work for. If you're going for a high comp event, you can't put low comp players in it. And I understand that might not be like everyone's event. So it's good to have a roster and know what you want to do with that instead of like saying we're just going to only put big players in. Obviously it matters on the event like everyone else is saying. But I think overall, anyone can work their way up to any event. I think that this scene is you have a lot of opportunities in the scene. And so if you have the opportunities to take it by creating content, this is the best way to do it. So there's no such thing as a small creator. I think anyone can get any event if you work hard enough.
I don't know, I feel like there's people that work so hard with like content creation and stuff, they just don't get into events because quite frankly, most of the big events are very like click based. Like it's really like you either win in with the friend groups or you're not. It's kind of hard to get in with those friend groups. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird trying to get into events and all that sort of stuff. But to go into like the actual main point, I don't know. It's hard to bring forced diversification into like events. Really, it kind of boils down to a numbers game at that point, where it's like, oh, you have so many subs, you're not getting in, or you have so many subs, you are getting in. It's bad on both sides trying to prioritize smaller creators, trying to prioritize bigger creators. I think it should just be everyone's prioritized, or like it's kind of based on, oh, let's put this person in this event, they fit on this team well, or oh, we're going for a high comp event, let's get all the sweats in this one, then have a low comp event. It's a weird question, to be honest.
I was on neutral, because I agree with a lot of the things CGQ said, how, you know, it kind of depends on the event, but especially like over the last few months, there's been like with Chamber Trials, Patreon and stuff, there are so many ways for smaller creators to get out there, and I'm on the side where I really like those events, and like you're able to, there's a lot of paid for events. I think smaller creators have a lot of chances nowadays to be able to play those events. And obviously, I think, like, so if you want to get into one of these bigger events, you put in the time, the effort, which is always going to be difficult to do. But, you know, some people get lucky. You're able to get your chance in those bigger events. And if you're not, you have the opportunity to play, like, a Patreon event. And I really like that events do that. I think of more, like, especially, like, bigger events. I like when they, like, do, like, Rising or type events. Or even if you have to pay, you know, you get your chance to play. And I think that's my view on it.
Balancing teams in Minecraft events is vital for a fun experience. 3, 2, 1.
Just go.
Sorry. I know this is like not even in the thing, but I like truly believe no matter what event it is, for fun, sweaty, whatever the hell it has to be, if the team balancing is bad, that means that at least one person didn't have a good time, which means I feel like that just automatically makes it a worse event, you know? Because if every team has an equal opportunity to do well, even if they don't do well, like get first or whatever, even if they're like able to play well in like at least 1 or 2 games, and for me it's just like where every team is just like they just do decently well in a decent amount of like a reasonable amount of games, right? It doesn't have to be every game. Maybe they do really bad in a couple of them, but then do really good enough, or just like do decent across the board. It's just like for an enjoyable experience for most players, if you're placing last in multiple games, that's just not fun, right? Like it's just not. You're never gonna have a fun if you're just never doing well. So like, I don't know. I just think you have to have good team balancing for an event to be fun for everyone. Like you have to.
So I'm very far this side because everyone here heard of Block Wars, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So the
Yes,
balancing in that is not always great. But if
Tell
you
me
think of
about
it
it.
like Block Wars Movember, I had one of the most unbalanced teams there, and we were on the weaker side, but it was the most fun ever. And also, how do you balance an event with gimmicks like that? If you're donating to charity and you're getting gimmicks, it's kind of impossible to balance on that. More events like that are starting to pop up and come around, and I think balancing in that is very minimal because you're gonna have teams with Ludwig with fun players instead of having them with, you know, players that like are super sweaty because he's not gonna take the game serious. And no, that team's not gonna be very strong usually, but it's gonna be more of a fun team, and you're gonna have a lot more fun out of that team than you would on a team that's super sweaty to balance him out for being so bad. I think balancing matters in an event that wants it to matter, but if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
From my own personal experience, I've had a lot of fun on like last place to pretty much last place teams where I'm still with my friends and with people I get along with, and like I've still had fun. But on the other hand, I've also had like dominant like first place, second place teams, but I've just not really got along with my team that way. I've not had as much fun, or maybe I felt like I've not contributed enough to the team. So like, from that standpoint, I don't feel balancing is important. For me, I go into an event, don't get me wrong, I'm competitive, I will look if my team's good, but I mostly look at if I'm with my friends or people I know, I'm going to have fun. As well as the fact, for me personally, I like being an underrated team. I like being in the underdog sort of thing. Like for me personally, I feel more fun in that environment. I feel like I perform much better. Like if I'm going into an event being predicted like, oh, he's going to dominate the event, the team's going to go crazy, bro, I get nervous as fuck. Like, it puts so much pressure on me.
I believe chemistry is way more important than balancing. I don't think balancing is the only reason you should, like, if you'll have fun or won't have fun. I think team balancers should always prioritize putting people, like, their friends live, and obviously not making an overpower team, like, if they're requesting an overpower team, but, you know, don't put, like, if they don't want to, don't put them with people they don't know. I think chemistry is just much more important, but like especially for like charity events and stuff, if it's a more competitive event, I would like be over there if it was specifically that, but since it's any type of event, I think balancing is just more important.
I believe that balancing does matter, because even if you have sometimes you can have a fun team that can be last place and still have a great time, but there are times where I would have a fun team but it wouldn't be as fun because we were losing so many times because we're always in last place. I think it's good to have teams a little bit balanced so that you're not going to think so much about how you're a bad team and how other teams are so overpowered. Because even if with fun players, it just might be annoying to be always losing.
MCC is currently the best Minecraft event. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
Oh,
I think it's just gone a bit stale for me. I don't know. Like, I think it used to be like back in its heyday, but like right now, I think it's just, I don't know. Like as a viewing experience, like it definitely has its peaks. Don't get me wrong. Like still, like I was at TwitchCon Rotterdam, and like the last one, and that was probably the most fun I ever had watching it, but mainly because that was live. But like as more and more goes on, unless there's like any like different changes with stuff going on, I don't really see it being like the best now, or at least definitely not for long.
If we talk about quality, MCC is the best, hands down, by far, no competition. But in terms of enjoyment, obviously, it's been 5 years. 6 is really 6 since MCC started. So it makes sense that after so many events that people wouldn't enjoy it, watching it as much, especially because, you know, games have reached their mostly final state. So it's really hard for new changes to be made without it being weird or just like clunky or things like that. And the whole like experience has basically just been the same. So for me, I would say I don't enjoy watching it as much as some other. I mean, even Block Wars now, I enjoy watching MCC. I can't lie, and that's not like a knock at MCC. It's just I haven't watched Block Wars for as long, so it's like less stale, and obviously the new stuff, but. It's a really convoluted thing, and there's too many ways to interpret it. But I think both those are my 2 answers to the question.
Yeah, maybe I'm basic, but like MCC is the only event I consistently watch. MCC is the only event I will watch no matter who's playing in it. Other events, I feel like it really matters. Like I'll just watch my friends, or maybe if I want to see a certain player's individual performance, I'll watch it. But for MCC, I'll watch it every time, no matter who's in it, just because I enjoy the games. There's no games that I dislike in it. I'll watch every one of them. And that's how I view the best, I think it's the best Minecraft event for me, just because I just don't watch any other ones. It's the only one that's piqued my interest, and it's just stayed there. I watch chamber trials and stuff, but I more so watch those events because I like seeing how certain players will do in those events, and not just for the event itself. Even though I do enjoy the games in it. It's just I watch MCC because it's MCC.
I think this is a very subjective question because it all just kind of depends on a bunch of factors. You know, there's a lot of different things like the roster, the games, the builds, you know, how it looks, how the music. There's a bunch of different things going into an event. And to say that MCC is the best is just I would say just an opinion, because there's other events like Pandora's Box, Block Wars, who are also really good events, very well made in their own separate ways. And as far as I like MCC, I wouldn't say I just don't think I would say this is the best event, because it's like on the same level for me as like Block Wars and Pandora's Box. It's very just subjective, and I wouldn't say myself that it's the best, but it's definitely in the top.
I think, as many other people have said, it is extremely polished, has great longevity, but there's different things that different people look for in events. And for example, I look for more competition in terms of its like roster and its events. And like it's still a great event, but there's other events with like there's so many things like better visuals, more diverse rosters that appeal to different people, different mechanics that fit better for like the rosters that they're going for. Like damage points, for example. You've never seen that in MCC. I don't know. It's just like a bunch of different like factors that I think other events just do better. And MCC is still a great event, but I feel like just in general, they don't have like as much to offer as they did when they first came out. Because, you know, they were new, they were like innovating, but they haven't like changed many of their like original games in a while. And I feel like it's just kind of like it's a little bit stale in some of its game concepts and like all that. Yeah.
Kel Awesome is currently the best Minecraft event player. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'll glaze. I'll toot my own ego because I'll glaze. Really, there's no one as like dominant and as consistent as him. If you can be like not only get like win the most competent event, which I would think is like the Feinberg Pandora's Box Invitational, but also get first indiv by that, I think I can't really name anyone that's like really better. I don't think.
Yo, my name on Twitch is literally Kel Awesome Fan, bro. But like,
That's
Yeah, that's me. That's me. No, but I think okay. So Kel isn't like the best player, I guess. He's not like the best mechanically. He's obviously like very much up there, but I think what makes him the best is his leadership and like his game sense. The combination of like his mechanics, leadership, and his game sense are what make him the best player. Because there are people better than him, but they don't have the ability to lead a team or like know what plays to make in a certain situation over, because he's just played so much, and nobody else has ever contended him for that spot. Like he's the most first individuals against every other like S tier that he's played against, and it's just his teams just always do well. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm glazing, but
I don't think Kella Awesome is necessarily like the best Minecraft player in the existence of like history ever. But Kel Awesome has mastered like his skills to a point where like he's a dominant force. Sure, there'll be some people who are better at him at PvP. There'll be some people who will be better at him at parkour. But at the end of the day, he's one of the only few who can really like dominate the field.
Okay.
And he has such quick adaptability as well.
I would go over here if I could, even more. I think Kel is just very consistent. I think he's came into the scene and dominated, and I think he continues to. I think it could change very soon, as like what he said. He's kind of like slowed down on training and like practicing as much and playing as many events. So like I think it could change, but like for right now, I don't think there's anyone else that could even compete with that.
Insert Kel Glaze here.
yeah.
I feel like it just goes without like saying his performances are consistently like top tier in any event he plays. I mean, some players like, I don't know if any of you've heard of them, but like Brunted, he's a speedrunner now. There's Dante, Block Wars tester. I feel like these kinds of players, if they played as many events as Kel, they could be just as good. If the question is if he is currently the best Minecraft event player, and yes, there's like a lot of players who are close, in my opinion. Like Toph, for example, is usually right behind him in a lot of events, but he's just inconsistent, or in fact, sometimes in front of him. But right now, overall, Kel Awesome is the best Minecraft event player, no competition, really.
Minecraft events are best played with 8 games. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think it matters more about how long the event is going to last. Like the average event lasts about 2.5 to 3 hours, and that usually just works in the 8-game format, and that's why most events are 8 games. If not, like basically all of them are really. There's a couple that are like 6 or whatever, but like most events are that long because of how long they take to. And I think you could have more games that each last shorter for a similar amount of time. But I think in general, like events just need. So like I don't really care about the 8-game thing. I think an event should not take longer than like 3.5 hours, and that just works. It can work in any which way. It really just depends on how long each game is.
Yeah. So 2 words: Dragon's Pit. I think that game roster, there's only 6 games, but I think that event, it fit perfectly in there, and it was really good. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. I think it just depends on the event, and limiting it or expecting a certain amount of games is just gonna ruin the event's vibe if it doesn't go for that.
I feel like if you're talking about 8-game event formats, that's kind of just ignoring all the quote-unquote non-traditional events out there, like UHC events, MCSR events, which that's there's a billion events that come under that umbrella. So for me, there's more you can do in an event than just 8 different mini games into a finale with the top 2 teams getting into it. Even in like a traditional event format, you can, as it was said, you could do 6 games, like 6 more high quality games, even go down to 4, 5, whatever. You don't have to stick to the 8 mini games into the finale. There's a lot more you can do with events, and I think like that idea is just limiting people. Like it's limiting creativity in my eyes.
I don't think that 8 events is like, the events, 8 mini games is the best. I don't think the number should be a factor at all. I mean, as long as the games are satisfying, they're satisfying enough for everyone to play, then I think it's fine if it's 6 games, 4 games, or even more, like, I don't know, 10, 12. I mean, of course, don't make the event go for like 5 hours, but as long as the games itself are satisfying enough, I don't think the event needs to have 8. It can be lower, it can be higher, it can be the same, but I wouldn't say it's the best, because it just depends.
Talking like specifically about like minigame events like MCC or Chamber Trials, I don't really think it matters. But like me personally, I feel like the more games the better, as long as everyone can stay the whole time without like problems. I feel like at least 8 games is pretty basic for a reason. Like makes the event last as long as people like are willing to play or watch. I've like Cube Championships, for example. Last season they had a game roster of 6 games, and it was good. But more often than not, players and like some viewers, they wanted to like see more. They wanted it to like last longer, and didn't expect it to like stop too soon. And this season they have 8 games, and there's been like a lot more approval of it, and people have like enjoyed like that fact a lot more. I don't know. I just feel like 8 games is like traditional for a reason, and it's like gotten to be the base because of it being good for events and like length.
Minecraft events being hosted for money is good for the event space. 3, 2, 1, go.
Like if you're buying like commissioned events, I feel like there should be some sort of twist like involved. I guess if it's just gonna be like, it's one thing if you do it once, right? But it comes like doing it again and again and again without like a lack of thinking about it. And hey, I'm gonna just invite a bunch of my friends and then have it a BB. It just kind of makes it, I don't know. It just yeah, because I interpret it as events that like you might win money over. You know what I mean? Not like commissioned events.
I think it has both positive and negatives. On the positive side of things, right? People are able to like play events that they would probably never be able to play, like either in like a good while or like ever. But at the same time, right? It does make some of those like prestigious like events, such as Block Wars and Pandora's Box, feel like less prestigious, I guess, if that makes sense. But also to add more on the positive side, people get paid to keep the events up and running as well. I'd say there's more like good, but at the end of the day, like it's whatever you think.
The same thing for me here, like with Ice, like there's advantages and disadvantages, really. I like the fact these events are getting more money, in a sense like they're actually getting monetary compensation for their efforts, like Patreon thing, but it's good more events are actually getting revenue, because obviously it is a fuck ton of work to actually make any of these events. I don't think people really grasp how much shit goes into, especially the more big events, how much work goes into them. Like but on the other hand, I don't like the idea of pay to play. Like some of the prices people put into playing these Minecraft events, I think is ridiculous. Like, don't get me wrong, I can see wanting to play an event you enjoy, getting to stream it, maybe even getting a team of your friends for it, but like, bro, paying 75 quid per person to play an event and then having someone probably pay that full price for a full team, like, what? Are you insane? Like, I just don't really like the idea of that. I especially would hate if that becomes the standards.
I don't know, I just think baseline it's more positive than negative. More people get to play Minecraft events. The developers get to be paid to put more effort and time into their projects. And like, yeah, I think like the main argument against it is that the event will get stale. I see a lot of people saying that. You just don't have to watch it. Then you have to watch every single one that's being played. So I just think baseline it's just more positive than negative.
I feel like just overall, it is a good way for well-known players to show interest in events in general, and a good way for unknown people to show their skill or personality so that events can like reach out and expand the roster accordingly. Like for example, the Chamber Trials that's coming up for the Sturm Game Nights, it has a lot of people like Codified or Dugal that you like don't normally see in events, and it shows that they're interested in playing events and events that want to expand the roster. For example, maybe Chamber Trials. I know they're going in a different direction with the roster soon. I don't know what that direction is, but for example, if it's competitive, then if they want to reach out to some of the people from that event, since there's a lot of comp in that event, like high-skilled PvPers or just high-skilled players in general who don't get much recognition, they can expand the roster accordingly. I just think it's generally good for the event space to allow more players in.
The next best Minecraft event player will come from Minecraft speedrunning. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So the biggest strength someone could have in both Minecraft speedrunning and Minecraft events is game sense, and you gain that by playing more and more and more. I don't think people like Infume, for example, have hit their prime Minecraft event wise because they need to play more events, in my humble opinion. How did he do in the PB played? I haven't been paying attention.
I don't know.
The most recent one, I think he got like 6.
Yeah, 6 in the
Okay.
beginnings.
That's still solid. That's still damn solid. So yeah, and also people keep forgetting that like Loki can talk now as well. That's my other point. And if those mechanics can like translate, we might be screwed. We might be screwed. I can't lie. But there's also other names like Runted, as Psychronix mentioned earlier. I haven't seen the guy play, but I've heard like a lot of people talking about it, like he's that guy. So I think out of any other like scene, then I think MCSR could be the potential one.
I think there's two ways to answer this. I think that like there's gonna be people that come from like Minecraft speedrunning that are already event players that just get into that. So I guess that could be how it's viewed. But I don't see it like that. I think Moiste or Toph is gonna be like the number one event player soon if Kel doesn't keep playing. And so therefore, like, yes, they speedrun, but they don't speedrun before they like, play events. So like I think it is just gonna be the event players getting better rather than a Minecraft speedrunner getting into the event scene and become better.
I just completely disagree. We already have a number one event player, and I do not see anyone overtaking him. And I also do not see him stopping, like, anytime soon in terms of playing events or whatever. Bro, I'm not fucking... Like, there's obviously a bunch of Kel glazers in this room, but I'm up there as well. Kel is just undisputed.
I don't think that the best player will come from MCSR. Of course, there are a lot of good speedrunners out there, but speedrunning is a little bit different thing than playing in events. Of course, there are like things you can learn from speedrunning that you can use in events. However, I don't think it is enough, or at least you would probably need a little bit of event experience to be able to come out on the top. Coming straight from MCSR to events, I don't think it's gonna be enough to be one of the best players. It can be, of course, you will be a good one, but not the best.
So, I mean, a lot of the best event players are speedrunners before and or during their event period. Kel Awesome is and has been a all advanced fit speedrunner. Feinberg was considered the best for a hot minute, and he's an all advanced fit speedrunner. Dolphin Man has been talked about a lot as being one of the best, and he's an all advanced fit speedrunner. But there's also just shout out Dolphin.
Shout out Dolphins.
But also, players like Infume and Brunted are coming into the scene extremely strong already with little to no experience. And as said earlier, Kel is slowing down on events and training. So I think just overall with the ability to put that much work and effort into what you want to do, if they want to, they can put that same kind of thing into speedrun or into event playing. And they could become just as good, if not better, than Kel Awesome currently is. With the same amount of practice and the same amount of events played.
If you enjoyed that video and would like to see more, please consider subscribing and let me know in the comments who you'd like to see on next. And yeah, goodbye.